What's up, brother? How you doing? How you feeling? Have you seen your mother? When you see her next time, tell her that I love her. I was crashing in the living room like Donald Glover. No heat, had to use the hoodie for my covers. Contemplating life.
What's up, brother? It's your boy Tbrown.
What's up, brother? It's your boy Troy, and welcome to the What's Up, Brother podcast.
What's up, brother? Podcast. Right.
How you guys doing today? What's up, T? How you doing?
How you feeling? How you feeling? How you doing?
How you feeling, T? How you feeling?
I'm like a villain in the Himalaya with the Yeti, baby.
Word. Same here. How you guys doing today, man? You already know, bro. We got to get to the thanking, man. We want to thank you guys over on YouTube. We got to thank you guys over there on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, any other platform that you are listening to us on. We want to thank you guys. We do appreciate it. If you guys do have any, opinions on the things that we talk about,
legally streaming it, I'll be even happy about that.
No, I don't know about that.
You know, the best music was coming through when you came through all of that bad boy online.
I don't know what he's talking about. But we want to thank you guys. We want to thank you guys for watching, for listening. Do leave them comments, man. Let us know what you guys think about the episodes. Know if you have any opinions on the topics that we talk about. If you did miss the last episode, we did talk about a little bit of the Dave Chappelle controversy that's going on, a little bit of the Kyrie. A little bit of the Kyrie and the vaccination thing, and then we talked a little bit about John Gruden for you football fans out there. We got another guest on today. She's a family member. She worked her way through college, and she's in a good place today. And I'm gonna let her take it away when we get her in here. We're gonna see you guys then. All right.
Little milestones. I hear that.
Hey. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Can you hear us good?
Awesome.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you good. We can hear you good. So, guys, I told you we had a guest. The guest is here. And, we like to jump right into it. So we like to start this show off with you introducing yourself to the people.
Oh, okay. My name is LaChenda Zabaleta, formerly Thomas. And I am Justin's cousin. Can I say that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yes. Justin's cousin. I am 35 years old, living in Jersey City, and I am a pediatric occupational therapist.
You're a pediatric, say that one more time.
A pediatric occupational therapist.
Okay. So Tbrown, LaTrinda, I don't know if you guys ever met. Tbrown has been over your father's house, I think.
I was about to say it's been in passing.
In passing on South Street.
Yeah, a couple functions we saw each other.
Oh, okay. We're so how you doing? How's everything going?
Everything's good, busy as always.
Yeah, how's the little one?
Little one ain't gonna be little no more.
Mine's already ain't little, so
I'm right there with you.
She already standing up to my hip, so she's probably gonna be as tall as me or taller.
Probably.
Yeah. But it's a joy. It's a joy to have children, man. That's what we're about here. We're about the community. We're about trying to, find a way to give these youth other tools than the tools that they have now, because us growing up, we had a lot of tools that some of us utilized and some of us didn't. And now even those tools, it wasn't a lot, but it was enough to get people past or to get people out this environment.
I don't think it was enough.
No, it wasn't enough. That's why I corrected myself. It wasn't enough. Yeah. Today they have a lot more tools, but it's just like it's so small of a percentage of people that's using those tools to get out, especially in the area where we come from. So we like to focus on the area where we are. Where I am is a dominantly gang area where they recruit young Black men and young Black women now. Because back in the day, it wasn't that many young Black women in gangs. All right. There was some, but it wasn't. And today's, their numbers are crazy how many Black women that will actually shoot you out here.
Really?
Yeah, that will actually shoot you out here. Like, it's like that now. And it's like times are changing. It's like me sitting here and knowing like the little tools that we had back then, that a lot of us took them. Like a lot of people that I had on the podcast before have been friends of mine from high school, that 3 went to the Army. One's now about to become a gym teacher to get back to students. Another one is a police detective here in Jersey City, back in his home, his hometown. So, I'm trying to show people that there's good that people can do. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to invite you on, because I know that you grew up in not the hood of Jersey City, but in on the other side. And it'd be good for people to get that perspective too, and what you've been through and how you got to where you are today. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely grew up in Hoboken in the projects.
Right.
Yeah, that's a different thing too. Different process.
So that was definitely like my hood.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are like, oh, it's Hoboken, but
no,
I mean,
Hoboken back in the 90s.
every hood is different.
girls was following me home from school, okay, trying to like jump me. So yeah, it was real.
Hoboken was real back in that day.
It was real.
It still kind of is. It still kind of is, but now it's like in both areas, it's like the younger kids have taken over. There's no guidance, even in the gangs. There's no guidance. So just speak on your childhood of growing up, like in the Heights of Jersey City and then Hoboken.
Sorry, my dog is.
It's fine. He's welcome.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
He's welcome.
So I guess I won't speak on my childhood too much, but I will speak on my high school experience and my college experience. I grew up in a household with both parents up until I was like in 8th grade. Then my parents got divorced. Right. These things happen. They shape us. They make us into the people we are today.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Hoboken Public Schools. Then from there, I went to Stockton University, which is now Stockton University. It was Stockton College back then in South Jersey. So it was an hour and a half away. Would come home every weekend.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
I mean, I had to keep on my brother and my sister. My sister's 3 years younger. My brother's 10 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And help out with things around the house and that kind of stuff while still trying to get my degree.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated in 2008 with a bachelor's in psychology. And I was like, I don't know that this is really what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think the issue with a lot of minorities is that we go into the social sciences and we don't make enough money because we want to be social workers and we want to be psychologists and we want to work for DIFAS and we want to help people, and we don't make enough money doing that. I hate to say it. Like a lot of us don't think about being doctors. We don't think about being lawyers. We don't think about being scientists. We're drawn to the social sciences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see? So I will say that I wish I had went to a community college first. I will 100%.
What's the reason?
The money.
Right?
The money. Definitely. Like I should have went to community college because I could have saved so much money going and then transferring to a 4-year college.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
I chose Stockton because it was far but not too close. And it was the cheapest state school for college at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad at it.
So I said, let me go there. So let me go there. Got my degree. 4.5 years I finished. I left Stockton and I was like, what am I going to do with this degree? Nobody will hire me.
Crazy.
5 years had passed and my friends that didn't go to college were settled in their blue collar jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And they were making more than I was making when I came out of college with a degree. And I was like, well, what am I doing with this psychology? This doesn't make sense to me. Like nobody would hire me. I couldn't find a job. I decided, it's funny because I was downtown Jersey City and I had walked past this place and it was doing pediatric therapy for children. And I said, oh, that sounds like something I would want to do. Let me walk in. Walked in, I met this woman named Sonia, who's the owner of Sensory Kids in downtown Jersey City.
Okay.
And I met this woman named Julie, and I asked them for a job. And they said, yeah, sure. You got a degree, come on in. I didn't realize that I had to go back to school to get my master's to become an occupational therapist. That's what it was.
Right.
So then I said, okay, let me figure out how I'm gonna get this degree. I don't want to go back to a state school. I don't want to go to a small school. I want to go to a big school. I want to go, to like a really well-known school.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that was the biggest mistake I could have made.
I was just about to say that. You feel like it was a mistake. Because a lot of young kids make that mistake when they're choosing colleges. They go to a faraway college or a very expensive college with no plan on how to survive out there.
I couldn't believe it. I decided to go. I applied to Seton Hall, applied to NYU, I applied to Columbia University.
Oh.
I got accepted to all the programs that I applied to, except Seton Hall waitlisted me. So I said, all right, it's going to be Columbia or it's going to be NYU. Columbia's Ivy League. NYU is kind of up there, prestigious as well. But NYU was closer to the Heights. That's where I was living with my dad. I said, I'm going to go to NYU.
I ain't mad at it.
When I tell you the first day of class at NYU, I walked in all white. I'm going to say 90% white. And they all had on skirts, white tops. And I was like,
oh, they was prepped up.
No. So I was like, damn, there was a dress code. I don't read my emails. This is ridiculous. I'll never listen. How am I going to make it here? They were Orthodox Jewish women.
Oh.
Yes.
Makes sense.
This is NYU. So I said, all right, well,
Makes sense too, though. Yeah,
it does.
When you come from Hoboken High, it's all mixed. When you go to a state school in South Jersey, it was very white, but you still had your Latinos and you had your
right. There's still some type of diversity in some clubs.
Yes, have a little bit. When I got to NYU, I said, oh, what did I sign up for? So I find this Black girl in class. I said, let me go sit next to her. She's from Ghana. She was from Ghana. She was from Ghana. I mean, she lives in the Bronx, and we're close. We're really close now. But I was just thinking to myself, I was trying to find somebody, but we totally vibed and we totally got along. But
that was dope.
It was really weird. I felt very out of place in the beginning, and I struggled a lot. I almost didn't graduate. I was on probation. I was struggling because the Jewish community is very tight knit. We know because we're seeing it now.
They are taking over.
At 11 o'clock at night, we see them like.
I ain't never seen a race like their children. That's like 4 or 5 walk by themselves.
Women alone on MLK and Bergen Avenue,
and nobody bothers them.
No,
nobody.
So they're very tight knit, and I didn't realize that like these are 5-6 generation occupational therapy students. Their sisters graduated, their cousins graduated, their neighbors graduated this program. They had everything they needed. And here I am coming to this program with nothing. They had old exams, old study guides, old whatever they needed. They had their own study groups. They had all the foundations and all the support they needed to succeed.
For real. And they pushed them to show shit. Their cousin could have gave them the answers practically.
And I was thinking to myself, I'm sitting in the guidance counselor office on probation. I'm thinking to myself, who told me, some Black Puerto Rican girl from the projects, that I deserve to be here? I was mad at myself. I'm like, I set myself up for failure. What was I thinking? I struggled so long in that program. But I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make it. I gotta make it. Like, everybody's dependent on me. I gotta get out of this program. I gotta graduate. I gotta do this. Like, there's one other person on my mom's side that has their master's, and nobody else on our side had it.
Right.
So I was like, I gotta do this. I gotta get out of here. I graduated, and I mean, let me tell you, it was a struggle, but I'm not going back to school. You can't pay me to go back to school.
Let me go down my questions and mark that question off. Are you going back? Exactly. No, the question
does not mean more pay for me. I'm not going, because I'm gonna be super transparent with you guys. $190,000 in student.
I remember me and you having a conversation a little bit after you graduated, and you told me, and I remember I was like, you was like, oh, a lot of money. I was like, how much? And you was just like, enough to buy a house. And I was like,
for real, you ain't lying though. $190,000. That's a smooth 5-bedroom, 3-bath type.
And a lot of young people are going through it.
Oh God.
It's highway robbery. It is sickening. It is like, I've been a therapist 10 years. I've been out of school 10 years. And there's no way I could hold down a mortgage because I own my home. and pay my student loans. It was one or the other. And I was tired of sleeping on a twin bed at dad's house.
I ain't mad at you.
Yeah, it's time. It'd be sometimes when we grow up and we come to that realization, like, yo, I gotta do it. It does though.
That bed size really
it
do.
Does.
When you
People
sit
know
in
that
twin bed, flipping, you like, yo, do better than this small ass.
I can at least get a full tomorrow.
Facts for real.
Listen, my room at my dad's house I couldn't fit a full in there.
No, I know. I remember your room.
You remember my room?
I remember your brother's room. Your brother room could barely fit his twin size bed in it. So, but I mean, that's the environment that not that we grew up in, but it was for our parents to just try to give us something to just help us keep a roof over our head, a safe place. Especially your dad. It was like, it didn't matter to y'all that y'all rooms were small. Shit, me, I didn't have a room. No. Right. For me, I didn't have a room. I slept in the living room. I slept in the living room with my dad, my twin brothers, and my sister. So
I remember your house on Monticello,
yeah, crazy. Like, I still think back, like, how? How? But it was like, now that I'm grown, I can see, like, it was just grandma and my dad and, Kawana just trying to keep a roof over our head. And that's the most important thing. It was just them keeping a roof over our head so we didn't have to be in the streets. We didn't have to go through other things that other people around us was going through. I had homeless friends. I'm pretty sure you knew homeless people or people that struggled worse than you growing up. So we all had that stigma around us that our parents was trying to keep us away from.
Yeah, definitely.
Could be worse. That's how everybody saw it. Could be worse.
All right. So what is one thing you feel you wouldn't have learned without college?
I got a couple of things.
Bring it.
Public speaking. I had to practice that a lot, and I'm a very nervous person, and it really, really helped me a lot with that because I became president of an organization and, stuff like that. And I had to speak in front of people. It like really made me come out of my shell. Networking is not something I would have done outside of college.
That's a good one.
Networking, it teaches you how to be unafraid and how to be confident in yourself and know that, like, look, we're all in the same boat. Each other out.
Legit. Literally just trying to level with somebody on that one. Literally just trying to bring, and then in a way sell yourself too at the same time. That's what that confidence
and like show people what you have to offer.
Yeah. I've definitely been in your shoes on that one when I would be going to like certain events when I was modeling. I definitely understand where you're coming from because like you got other people there that could basically like you can get a couple of gigs here, so don't sit here and just take advantage of the free open bar. Like actually like get talk to some people, legit. Like
you need confidence for that. You need confidence, you need experience, you need you need the forum and the foundation, the platform for those types of events, and they have them at college. So
see, for me, it was easy for me to kind of.
That's the personality, though.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm a jokester, so for me, it's like I can fit in anywhere, like literally anywhere. Like, I remember, I'll tell you guys a funny story. When I was in college, right, I met this girl named Gabby, and it was the first day meeting her, and we all sat at the table, and Tyrone, you was there. And we was all like, yo, we gotta hang out from now on. It's the first day of this big group of us meeting each other. And we hung out from day forward. But the first day I met her, we was about to head over to the chicken place. And she was Spanish and she had this deep ass accent. So she was like, let's go get some chicken. I was like, let's go get some what? Some chicken. I said, oh, okay. I don't know what that is, but I'm going with you. And then somebody else was like, chicken. So I was like, all right, let's go. But to tell you how like I can easily get myself out of something. As we were all packing up, I put my book bag on my shoulder and swung around, smacked her in the face with my book bag. And she didn't even get mad at me. And it was because I made her laugh the whole time she met me. So that just showed you your personality can take you.
Your personality can take you a lot of places. Like, if you don't have that,
you can struggle with it. No, I didn't mean to, bro.
I just wanted to slide that in there. I know you didn't mean to. I'm just saying. I didn't mean to, but
no, I wasn't shit. That wasn't shit. But go ahead. What were you saying?
No. I was just saying if that's not part of your personality innately, it's hard. It's a hard skill to acquire.
I can agree because I met some awkwardly like social people that now I like in high school, and now you look at them and they can't stop talking. Like, oh, they can't, they love meeting new people or being in settings where they get to know new people. And that was me. And like you said, it was because of my personality, but a lot of people we did grow up with didn't have that outspokenness to go and introduce themselves or get into a conversation with people. And yeah, you're totally right about that. College is a great place for communication skills. Communication skills is something I learned in college too. And like you said,
they make you.
Yeah, my first speech class, my first semester.
I'm about to say I took speech too, and that shit was
my
fun.
speech class, and I tried my hardest to get out of our first project was to make a little presentation and present it in front of class. Now I was good at presentations, but I hated presenting stuff in front of people. And I was a poet, so for me at that time, I needed to gain the confidence, like you were saying, to speak my poems out loud because I couldn't. So what I used to do in my college classes is I used to always at the end of the semester tell my teacher I wrote poems, so she'll make me read one. And that would help me build my confidence.
And let me tell you, I've used those skills so many times at work.
Right.
I've had to present case studies on patients to a group of 25 other therapists who have been therapists longer than me. And I've had to learn how to keep my nerves at bay, present the information, not stutter, not say not sweat, not like get all nervous, not be shaky.
Can't help but the sweat, but
the sweat.
Yeah, especially when you're in a room with important people, I could just imagine the pressure you have on you to make sure you're 100% on that line. Like I can't mess up here.
Yeah, stressful, but like college prepared me for that.
Do you feel like you got everything you could out of college?
No.
What do you feel like you missed or you could have taken from it?
I should have taken advantage of the resources that were there, the library, the career center, the older people, the more senior college students. When I came in as a freshman, I should have experienced more with them. I should have, done more workshops or whatever. Like there's just so much going on. No way for you to take advantage of all of it. And for the amount of money I paid.
Right. Do you feel like there were outlets for you to even like try in order to like get out to that? To like to
definitely. Yeah, there were. It's just like I just always felt like I could have done more. You just always feel like that sometimes.
I feel you. Hindsight's always 20/20, boo boo.
Yeah.
Yeah. One good thing, one bad thing about college.
Lifelong friends is the good thing. Lifelong friends. Like
if you meet them, because I met some people in college, and the second the class ended, nobody talked again. Nobody. The groups, nobody.
It depends if you're living, but when you're living on campus with people and you're
that's true. I didn't get a chance to experience that.
Let me tell you, my best friend to this day, I met at Stockton in South Jersey. She went to Snyder High School. She's from Jersey City.
Yes.
Crazy.
She's my best friend. She's my sister. Like,
it
took me to go to South Jersey to meet her.
Now that you said that, I have one person, and from I think the first week of class, she started calling me her baby brother because she saw how. I'll be honest with you, she saw how broken I was as a man. Like, and she was a 30-year-old woman. She saw how broken I was as a man and the things I was looking for in life. So she took me under her wing and she called me her baby brother to that standard. I was a baby brother, and I call her to this day my big sis. And we don't talk all the time, but we always make sure.
And how long was that? How many years ago was that?
I graduated, I think, in what?
About to say like a smooth 8 years.
Yeah, something like that. We just make sure to check on. Yeah, we make sure to just check on each other. So she's the only one person. Anybody else, I'll try to hit up. Nobody answer. Nobody. I'm like, yo, I get it. Life happens, but it's like, yo, we built a bond there, and it's like you should continue those bonds because at some point in life you're gonna need somebody with that type of bond.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Like me and Tyrone been friends since T was like, what, 10, 11, 12?
I'm about to say, 10, 11 years old, because that's when I moved on Monticello.
And I was like, what, 20, like 15?
I'm about to say, you was like 15 at the time, probably.
Yeah, there you go.
14, 15.
And I'm 30 now. What, you 26, right? 27.
27.
So I get what you mean. Those connections are very vital because me and Tyrone, we grew up in similar situations in the household, and it was like we helped each other do that shit, just sitting on the porch listening to music.
Music, bro.
Right.
I had that stereo.
I mean, you guys both have kids, right? Tyrone, you have children now too, right?
Yeah.
Y'all go through
We
fatherhood.
both doubled up. Yep. For
Yeah.
real. That's what I found. That was ironic too within our friendship too. It was like weeks apart from each other. We were telling each other like, yeah, we're gonna be fathers.
It was 4 of us though. It was me, Naela, Michael, and then Tyrone.
Yeah, true.
Y'all are traveling the same path.
Yeah. So I think Aurora came, then Janaya, and then it was either you, Tyrone, then Michael, my little brother, or Michael, then you, then Michael, then you. It was one of those two. But we had
to see the birthday.
All 4 of us had our kids a couple of weeks apart.
Yeah.
So, which was pretty cool.
Yep. I see. Yeah, I mean, I made some really lifelong friends. Not just one. I made a couple of good, really good, solid ones. Like,
I would say that is a good quality about college. You can meet if you're in the right situation, like you being on campus and having to go through that experience of living on campus, because it's not an easy thing living on campus, and a lot of people don't realize that. They think like, yo, I could just go stay on campus and I'll be good. But I know a lot of people that struggled. And when they say ramen noodles as a lunch menu, like they not playing ramen noodles as a lunch menu. So
you looking at one of them.
Yeah.
You looking at one of them. I ate a cup of noodles and them Chef Boyardee ravioli things. I ate those too.
You got to do what you got to do in college, and a lot of people ain't built for it going away. So that's why I stayed home.
And that was the thing, right? Like when I got to Stockton, I was like, I couldn't believe how many parents showed up. To help them move in. Couldn't believe how many parents were coming on the weekends to do grocery shopping and wash their laundry, and I didn't have that. Nope. My dad did what he could. My mom did what she could. Right. We didn't have that. I didn't have that.
Your father was not driving out there to go no grocery shopping with you.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I'm like, bro, when you go away to college, that means you're done. You're grown up. Like, it's time to grow up now. Like, what is this?
No, but when you see in movies, like. It's not a race thing, but when you see white parents in movies not let go of their kids, that's a real depiction.
Listen, let me tell you, I'm going to be at my son's college every weekend.
Me too.
I'm going.
Me too. I'll be there because I'm going to be seeing where the teachers at.
I'm going.
Be seeing where the professors at.
I'm going to be all up in Landon College.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But as a mother, I can understand that because you're nurturing, you want to make sure he's good and stuff like that. Yeah. For us fathers, we just gonna call you once a week like, yo, you good?
Nah, I got my mom in me. I'm gonna still be trying to come through and check up on you. I ain't gonna be there every weekend. Yeah, yo, because that's what.
Come on, we know we gotta pop up at least like 3 times on them. Make sure they doing
right.
That's
what I'm saying. I'm gonna slide up on you. You ain't gonna know when I'm gonna pull up, but I'm gonna pull up.
Definitely wouldn't tell you.
I spent 4.5 years at Stockton. My dad came.
Told you that's men. That's men.
My mom too. Baby graduation.
She was like, "You looking?" Your mother was like, "Look, I ain't traveling over there. I don't know. It's like prison. It's like prison, bro. It's like the concept of prison. You go away, and your parents they only visit you once in the blue, bro." So,
but my dad would stack my car up with food before I left. Like, but
yeah, your father was a chef all his life, right?
Yeah. A couple dollars for some gas and
there you go. So you need it. So if you could share one thing with the youth about the college experience, what would it be?
It gives you the opportunity to find yourself, express yourself without judgment of your community and what you're used to.
Oh yeah.
It gives you the opportunity to be whoever you want to be. And you'll never have that chance again. Really.
That's true.
Once you come back home, unless you move to another, you move to another state or town or whatever, but college, you can be whoever you want to be.
Yep.
Simple. And nobody judge you because nobody knew you before that.
Right.
Right.
That's 100% true. You could go back to your regular life. So I totally agree with
Like
you.
my name Gretchen out here.
College does have
know it.
You could develop a nickname, an alter ego, a different personality.
Oh,
Don't tell
Wear what
people
you
that.
want.
Don't tell people that. Don't tell people that. We're
It's
gonna
true,
go to
though.
school doing crazy
It's
shit.
true.
Nah, that's not
That's what
really
I'm
me.
saying, yo. They
That
just
wasn't me
come
there.
through,
That
yeah,
wasn't
my
me in the
name
video,
Gretchen.
officer.
That
That
was
wasn't me.
Gretchen. That was Gretchen in the video.
That wasn't me, officer. Officer, that was not me. That was the other side of me. You gotta
That
get
was
him when he come
Gretchen.
out. You gotta get him when he come out. He's not out right now.
You gotta get Gretchen when you can.
So at what point? Yeah, I think you touched on it a little bit. When you said when you came out of school with your degree before you got your master's, you really didn't know what you wanted to do. So how did you know what you wanted to do, like career wise? Like how did you figure it out?
When I was at Stockton, my roommate, who was from Hoboken, we went to high school together. We played soccer together. She was studying to be a speech pathologist, a speech therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked at me and she said, you know what? I think you'd really be good at occupational therapy. And I was like, what is that? She kind of told me about it. So before I left Stockton, I kind of knew either I was going to go into that or go for a master's in psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I walked up to that place, it was on Monmouth Street, downtown, Sensory Kids. And then from that moment, that woman, Sonia, she took me under her wing and I just knew. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to work with kids. I want to work with babies. I want to help them. I want them to be better. I want them to get better. And it was mostly a lot of autistic children. But I really developed a passion for like physical disabilities children, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. Like those are my babies. I love those.
They all have a special way of touching you.
The physical disabilities ones, like the ones with seizure disorders and all these types of genetic disorders, like those are my kids. Love those. Down syndrome people are my favorite human beings on earth.
I hear that.
So I knew then, and then I as I got into my field, I kind of realized like, whoa, when you're an occupational therapist, you can work in a lot of places, a hospital, a nursing home, a pediatric outpatient clinic, a school. Nice. You can work a little bit of everywhere. And I realized that there was a difference in pay depending on where you want to work. Nursing homes was paying the most, so that's where I went. Even though I wanted to work with babies, I was like, I got to pay for bills.
Yeah, bills are due. I feel you. When the bills are due, you got to take what's help you get
so I worked with the geriatric population for 9 years, and I did pediatrics on the side.
So how did you manage that?
I worked at the nursing home during the day, saw a couple of kids at night afterwards or on the weekends. And when COVID hit the nursing homes, that's when I left completely, 100%. I was out.
I'm not
not mad at you.
I mean, I had to leave. There weren't enough patients that survived COVID for me to rehab.
Yeah, that's true too.
So I had to leave. So I had to go, full force.
With the children.
I'm mad at you.
So you sound like you was gonna ask a question.
I was just gonna say, what was it like working with the geriatric community?
I loved it for a long time. And then I started to get burned out. I started to feel like, all right, where am I going with this? Right. It was hard to see people die. It really was. And then you had your regular orthopedic patients that broke a hip, need a knee replacement, shoulder replacement, that type of stuff. And you really develop, we have frequent flyers. You develop relationships with them. They break something, come back, break something again, come back.
Crazy.
But I liked, and you know what I loved about the geriatric population was like, there was so much wisdom and knowledge in the older women.
I could see that.
Oh, yeah. That's why all my childhood, all I did was talk to older people because I just wanted to see what life was.
I had patients that saw me as a new student, pregnant with my son, get married, buy a house. I had patients that watched me transcend through all 4 stages of my life.
That's amazing.
That's what's up.
I had patients that made land in blankets and crazy stuff. Like,
nice. And I be calling them grandma on God.
And you know what? They would tell me, like, they would ask me for pictures of him. I still write to some of my patients and send them pictures in the mail. Old
That's
fashioned. That's what
amazing.
they do.
See,
I
that's
mean,
something I would
any means
want to get
necessary.
into. That was something like, because I feel like writing a letter is cool, but that'd be dope.
I'm
You
telling
gonna,
Take you back.
you gonna become a pen pal for prison?
Hey, you never know. You never know. Some of them need that.
They gonna tell you,
Especially if it's an old person on life.
she gonna be
You
telling you
never
her.
know. They
She gonna
might
be
need
telling you
that.
her.
it brings them so much joy.
It does though. I watch all the prison shows on Netflix, bro. When they get letters, bro, it just makes them feel like they're still human, bro.
For
It's like, it
real.
just makes them feel like somebody can actually love them still. So
Yeah.
I can imagine like you sending letters to old people that might be stuck in a situation where I know a lot of people in those situations don't go visit their elderly, family
This
members.
woman, I would send her pictures of Landon when he was a baby. And you know what she would send me back? Pictures of her baby when she was a baby.
Oh,
Her daughter is in her 60s. She was sending me her baby pictures, and I would call her daughter and be like, I got your baby pictures. I'm gonna send them back. But like, that's how connected she was to me.
She was sending you the actual pictures.
Dope though.
Actual pictures.
Oh man,
that's crazy.
She said if I'm gonna trust anybody with these original copies, it's gonna be.
She wanted me to share. Yeah, she wanted to share her joy and her love with me and say, look, we're both mothers. Like,
right.
I'm 85, but I'm still a mom.
I still feel you. Yeah, for real. She leveling with you. She's like, we here, son. We here.
Yeah.
But no, just having those connections with older people are touching, bro. Because you definitely, I think we all need guidance and knowledge in the way life is, because sometimes, especially growing in a predicament like me, I was surrounded by gang violence. I was surrounded by gangs. My brothers got dragged into it. I later on in my teens wound up getting dragged into it. And for me, having those older people to talk to just made me stay on that road of, I want to get out of here. I don't want to be a statistic. I don't want to become victim to the streets. And I stayed far enough away from the streets that I didn't become a victim of it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I ain't gonna lie. I remember going to your house when we were kids and being it looked like, you know what it felt like on Monticello? It felt like Crooklyn, the movie.
Yo, low key though.
It felt like that.
Bring that up.
And like,
it really
I was like
Crooklyn on Monticello.
It felt like Crooklyn over there, like the brownstones, the stoops and all of that. Crooklyn. And I used to be like, wow, this looks so cool. But then, it's got a lot of character. At the time was like, I don't know. It might not work out over here for me.
I lived deadly in the middle of every gang. There was a gang here, there's a gang here, there's a gang here, and there's a gang here. Like, and then around there were other gangs too. So it was like, yo, anytime a gang fight happened, bro, they literally had to walk through my block.
Yeah.
So I mean, we were much involved in it as we could. I would give my father credit there that he did enough to keep us out of the gang life. We all walked away at a good age to be able to not have any beef for nobody to come back and want to kill us. So
right,
because that started to be a thing. I dropped my pen, sorry. That started to be a thing, a couple of years ago, where people would just kill the people they had beef with when they was kids. So I'm just lucky to understand, like, having those with the older wise people to just give me that knowledge of like what life was, because as kids we don't know what life is. Like, we just think it's all like my daughter. She falls, cracks her head, and she cries, and then he hides, and then now it's all funny, and it's just like, yo, you're not invincible. I told her today, you're not invincible, bro. And I thought I was invincible. I'm not.
You would be surprised that like I've met thousands of people working at the nursing home over the years, right? And it really gives you the sense of like, nobody is perfect. It don't matter how much you have, disease does not care. Pain does not care. I met women who were 70 and gay and never came out to their families, divorced, HIV/AIDS, cancer, adopted children, couldn't have fertility issues, couldn't have children. Like, I've met a little bit of everybody and anybody, estranged from their husband, estranged from their children, estranged. Like, you just meet all different types of people, and like really, like I know there's a disparity sometimes with whites and blacks and Latinos, but really in the nursing home,
Nah. There's only a few places. There's only a few places where race literally does not matter in a nursing home. Nursing home is one. They don't care because they're all in the same predicament. There, they all. It's either we sit here and we fight each other, or we fucking have peace in our last.
I got a silly question. Did you ever see any of them getting in fights over their snacks?
They do. I mean, listen, they're people. They got
personalities. Bob, I told you that granola bar was mine, Bob. I told you.
Like, give me that tapioca.
That tapioca. No, but you know what? And remember, like, so these are 70 and 80-year-olds. There were some people who would call me the colored girl.
Yeah, because they're old school.
Old school.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's the time they come from. And I think we get away from that today with older people. We're trying to subject older people, not just older people, young people, just still older. We try to subject older people to changing their minds about the way their opinion is on certain things. And it's just like, bro, they lived here way longer than us. Way longer. They done seen so much more. So much more than us. No matter what side they're on. No matter what side they're on.
And that's it. That's what Tyrone saying is true. Depending on their tone and how they use it.
You can laugh at it for real. Because if they just using it as a plain identifier, then it's just like, okay, you don't know me. Like, I only been here for like 5 seconds.
Or they would say something like, the color girl with the curly hair, she's so sweet.
Right. For real. Yeah, because and that's all they got. That's all they know. For real.
That's why I tell people we need to get to a time where words aren't offensive.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We're hypersensitive.
Today.
Yeah. Oh. We are hypersensitive.
See, today, I'll tell you this. When I was in college, I was in... What criminal justice class was it? I'm a criminal justice major. Damn, I forget the class, but I had a black attorney as my professor, and we were talking about the N-word. And it was this older lady in the corner of the classroom, and as she was talking, I was like, yo, and I'm young, I'm 20 years old, and I'm like, she's talking, I'm like, yo, that's so ignorant what she's saying, because what she's saying is, I don't care in what form, context, or what you say. You call me the N-word, I'm punching you in your face. So when the teacher looks at me, you see I'm thinking about what she's saying, and I'm like, it don't sit right. He calls on me because he knows I'm the best debater he has in the class, because I love to debate. So I'm like, I don't agree with her, and this is why I don't agree with her. I don't agree with her because it's a word. The more we allow that word to affect us as Black people, we still give them power over us. And I'm like, and she's in a corner like, no, I don't care. And I'm like, yo, you have to understand at some moment, at some point in time, we have to just let it go. We have to just let it go. And I'm not talking about forget what was done to our race, because it wasn't done to us, it was done to our race. I'm not saying forget that. But we have to move forward in a way that those things don't hinder us to get to places like where the Jews got. The Jews had the Holocaust, and now look how vital they are in America. Look how vital the Jews are in America. Everywhere you go, there's a monastery. Everywhere you go, they have a school. I have one that literally right next to my house. Like,
yeah, I mean, like I agree with it affect you for sure, because it really can piss you off. And it can really bring you out of your and people know they can get to you by saying it. It's like
I had a straight hillbilly call me an N-word at my job, and I laughed at him, and I'm like, it's not with the ER on the end of it. I'm like, and my boss is just looking at me like, my boss is just.
I had a girl in Bayonne High School call me one playing from Bayonne.
I've heard of that area.
I'll never forget.
Yeah, Bayonne.
I'll never forget. We played them. I was in Hoboken High. I was a senior. We played Bayonne. She said, because I was guarding. I was a right fullback. I was on defense. I was the fastest girl on the team.
That's right.
And she was getting pissed. She couldn't score. She was getting pissed. She's like, call me the N-word. And she made the mistake and called a Black girl on my team the N-word. The Black girl on my team went to the sideline, called her mom. She said, Ma, this girl, blah, 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 blah. Before you knew it, it was 15, 20 people from the projects walked up to the field, and we had a whole brawl. It was a mess. It was a mess. It was
the effects that one word can have. You see, Like, this is my problem with society. It's like, yo, you guys say, because now all of the something, and this is kind of off topic, which I love. You guys know I love going off topic. Yes, you know, because I just want general conversation.
Just slide it in there already.
Like, now the conversation today is
So
with the whole Dave Chappelle thing is now speech is violence. And it's like, yo, speech isn't violence. Speech is only violence when you allow it to affect you. When you want to be violent at what somebody says. It's not the person that's saying the speech, it's the violent one. It's how you interpret it and what your actions do. Like Lil Wayne said it, Eminem said in one of his songs, what is the name? What if I, or something like that. But he said, yeah, I'm writing all that. I'm paraphrasing, but he said, yeah, I'm writing this stuff, but I'm not telling them to go do it. Like, if I say F the police, that don't mean go grab a gun and shoot them. Like, I'm gonna say, then he's like, I'm gonna say all this fucked up shit. Now let's go see who's gonna grab a gun and shoot him. Because it's like, yo, just because somebody is a role model, just because somebody says something doesn't mean you have to react to, or you have to let that thing affect you. And it's like, for me, I see it so much in young Black men and women where we're not raising them to be like, yo, somebody call you a nigga, I get it. Yo, it's fucked up. They shouldn't be calling you that. But at the same time, it's a word. My two rules with my kids growing up, same. No, I didn't have these rules growing up, but you don't touch nobody unless they touch you. And when somebody say something back. That's it. Like, if I told my stepson, bro, somebody cracking on you, crack on them back. As long as they don't touch you, bro, you good. And that's all I care about is somebody touch you, defend yourself. Because now we live in a world where everybody's kids are going to start reacting off of words, and everybody's going to be getting calls home. Like, yeah, it is. It's about being a bigger person, and people don't understand that. It's like, we're not teaching our kids what the bigger person is anymore. Like, even the parents nowadays, because parents are so young, they want to fight other parents for their kids saying something to their kid. And it's like, yo, that's not how you're supposed to handle it. You're supposed to be mature about the situation and sit your two kids down and see what the problem is. Now, if they need to have it out, then let them have it out.
So you look into the camera for that one.
They need to have it out. They know. People that watch the podcast know when I look into the camera, I'm on one, all right? Because I just feel like, yeah, I get it. Kids got to defend themselves, especially when you're a Black kid. You already come up in this world and being young with anger. Every single one of them have anger. They don't know how to deal with it, so they take it out on the person next to them. I just had an incident with one of my son and one of his friends. And I told him, I sat down, I told him, I was like, look, you have to understand that he's going through stuff in his life that he does not know how to deal with. And he feels comfortable taking it out on you. And you can't let him take it out on you, but you have to understand why he's doing it. And I think a lot of people don't get to that part of understanding. They don't understand why their kids are acting out or why another kid is acting out. We just want to react off the words that somebody else is saying or what somebody else's kid is doing, instead of sitting down and talking. Like, I couldn't go home and tell my dad, like, yo, this, that, and the third, and he'd be like, yeah, let's go beat him up. Like, no, my father looking at me like, all right, what did you do? What is your part in it? And people don't ask that.
Your dad is like, he's definitely one of those sit down dads.
Like, no, you're gonna tell me what you did.
My dad is definitely the one that's like, let's go outside and crack them.
Yeah,
I'm a bit of both. I'm
probably gonna be in both too, but I'm gonna have some patience to me, because when you're dealing with your kid, you have to understand that you're dealing with other people's kids too. They're all kids, you know. So I remember,
and that's partly why I won't pull up though, because I want to meet their parents and see what we on here.
But see, nowadays,
if our kids need to bust out the gloves and squabble, then come on.
But see, that would be fine.
And then we can just talk it out, and we can both come out with a mutual form of punishment for both of them.
Right. That would be fine. That would be fine in normal society. So when I was coming up in my community around me, when me and my boy Angel used to fight, his mother loved me. She knew we used to fight. So it was never like they knew at some point in time we would have to get it out of our systems. But the most important thing is making sure at the end of it it's over. And I think nowadays, when people have a problem with people, especially young kids, because now we have to remember our gang members are younger, it's 12, 13, 14-year-olds, 15-year-old kids. When they get angry, and like I just said, they don't know how to control their anger or what to do with their anger. So what they can do is, though, they can get access to a gun and go take the anger out by pulling the trigger at somebody. And that goes back to what we talk about, like, yo, words.
It's emotional intelligence.
Yes.
We don't. Yeah,
and that's one thing we don't teach our kids.
We don't.
I'm trying to teach that to my son right now, and he's 3.
We have to.
It's important things.
So important.
Yes, there is important things.
They're starting to teach it in the schools now.
Yeah, after all this time.
I would hope so. Shoot.
They're starting to teach it to the kids now. All those social constructs, emotional intelligence, they need all of that information. They need
Yeah. So getting a little bit back on track, what are some obstacles you face getting to where you are today? Besides the ones you mentioned already, because you didn't mention a couple of struggles that you went through with not having a job like 5 years after you got your degree, which is a lot of things that it's a lot of kids out of college face that realization. They come out with a degree and they can't find a job. So besides that, what else did you struggle with?
I mean, finding my place, like really trying to find a career and a job that I love. Like that's still a struggle for me. I still struggle with that. I woke up the other day and said, I think I want to be an acupuncturist. Like you could sometimes I go and I sit at a restaurant and I get jealous of the waitress. I'm like, I want to wait tables. I want to do something else. I want to do something fun. I want to, you know what I mean? So
what do you think contributes to that?
When you're a kid and you grow up and you go to college, you're like, you're under this false understanding that you're going to get the career you want and everything's going to be roses. You're going to wake up and be so happy to go to school. To go to work every day. And that's just not the reality of the situation.
No, it's not.
There are a few people in the world that feel like that.
And that's what I struggle with too. I get burned out. I was telling my husband, I said, I've cried 2 or 3 times this week with a parent. That's a lot of crying for your job. That's a lot of emotion for your job. I'm crying with other adults because I feel their pain and I have a lot of empathy.
Right.
So sometimes
that's a beautiful thing though.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, but sometimes it's a lot it's a burden.
I have that same empathy. Like I can literally feel what somebody's going through. Like I can feel what they go through. That's why I can never get into a job like that. That is constantly you gotta feel. You're gonna feel it. I would drive myself mad. So I commend you because I know it's hard. I could tell you with my empathy and like if I could watch a movie and just put myself in that situation, I'll break down because like damn that shit will hurt. That would really hurt to go through.
That happened to me a little bit just now. Shoot, watching the show, I got warm and fuzzy.
Yeah,
a mother and their son got reunited. I was like, oh.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like I've consoled people while they're dying. I've consoled parents after they've gotten an autism diagnosis for their child. I've consoled family members. It's a lot. So I think that's sometimes what I struggle with. Like, why couldn't I have just gotten to a career that was very black and white? You know?
Yeah, because it takes a strong person to deal with death. I can tell you that now. Because I deal with death in a weird way. People will tell you because I don't cry. I really cry. It has to be for me to cry. It has to be everything hit me at once when it comes to death. But if I could rationalize in my head with it, my simple solution would be it's a part of life. It happens, and I can completely get over death with that. I think that the one person that's going to maybe affect my way of thinking there is my grandmother when she dies. I think that's probably the only person that's going to affect the way I think.
That's going to be it.
Yep. That's going to hit me a little bit.
Yeah.
And we know that,
Jesse, my lady.
It's part of life, but grandma just means that much
to all of us. Yeah, that's the one thing that's guaranteed.
Yep. Life, you get it. How long you keep it ain't guaranteed, but you get it. But then the next guaranteed part after you breathe in air is you're going to
only guaranteed part.
Yes, you're going to take one last breath of that air.
But it don't make it easy.
No, it don't.
So
it don't. But for me, I'd be cool and people just be looking at me like, I miss them, but they ain't here. They ain't got to struggle now. I still got to struggle. People like, you going back to work? Yeah, I'm going to work right now. Like, how you going to go to work because I got a life to get to. As much as I want to sit here and mourn to them, our lives continue. And it's sad to say that. And some people might look at me like you're cold-hearted, but no, I mourn in my own way.
World keeps turning.
Yeah, I mourn in my own way, but crying isn't the way I mourn. Like crying is not the way I mourn. Like Kawana, I cried. I cried probably once for Kawana, and that was it.
And that's how I was with my Uncle Bruce. I cried one good time.
Yeah, Kawana was a big part of my life.
Yeah, of course.
Kawana was a homie.
Kawana was a big part of my life.
Together a long time.
Good and bad. Good and bad. And even still this day, I got a picture of Kawana on my mirror in the room, and then I have her ashes in a little bullet chain that I carry around on my neck. And I always tell her, I'm like, Kay, you know I ain't gonna bullshit you, bro. You was a demon, bro. you were evil, bro. You had good in you. But I just think with Kawana, she didn't know how to use the good in her. She knew how she could use the evil in her. That was easy. But to use good in her, I don't think she knew how to use it. But Kawana was a big part. I probably only cried once for her. And after that, I just let it go. I literally even asked my grandmother, I said,
made me laugh.
I said, Grandma, you've been here so long. How does death still affect you like this? And she was just like, I don't know. And I was like,
That's right, but that's see,
no, it wasn't even Kawana. It wasn't Kawana yet. It was one of her sisters.
But even that, it's
I know it's hard. But grandma lost 2 sisters before that. So I would have thought, with my way of thinking, I would have thought that it would have been a little bit easier on her, but it was just as hard.
My mother lost 7 brothers. 7.
Yeah, that's it's hard. Like, it's hard. And
Damn.
I see, and that's another thing about me. We did so much as a kid that I think I prepared myself in my head, like, yo, the people around me are going to leave me. And it wasn't even death. I think because if you talk to Uncle Chris about me and the way I was as a kid, he said I had separation anxiety. Like, somebody come around, I didn't want them to leave. They leave, I have a fit. And that carried into my teens and into my early adult life, where I had these separation issues with emotions. So for me, it's like, I don't want to have those separation issues no more. So what I do is I program myself to be like, yo, people are going to leave. I have to be okay with that. And now, whether it's somebody walking out the door, and still living, or somebody in death, my mindset is just like, yo, people are going to leave. You have to be okay with that. It's just might get hit by a bus before this day's over. I mean, that's life. I literally said that to somebody on Facebook the other day. I was like, yo, do you know there's a million ways you can die just by walking outside? Like, you don't understand that. Like, people, you have to understand that. You gonna fuck up and trip down your stairs. You take a risk of dying every time you walk outside your house. Every time you get up and turn your stove on, your stove can fuck up. Like, there's a lot of ways we can die. But getting back on track, this is probably the question I look forward to the most tonight. What are your thoughts on discrimination in the workplace?
It's real. It exists. And it's not always racial discrimination. There's gender discrimination, and there is ageist discrimination. Do you know how many times people, the one that I've experienced the most is the ageism. People look at me and they go, I don't want that young therapist, but she's 20 years old. She don't know what she's doing. She don't know what she's talking about. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, no, I've been doing this 10 years. Like, I'm pretty sure I got a good handle on this. I'm not new. But even as a mom, I've had other women think I'm a teenage mom. No, I'm 35. Like, so it's real in the workplace for sure. Being a woman in the workplace is hard. You don't realize how much the men are paid more than you until you start having the conversations and people are being transparent and open with you about it. It happens. It's real. So it is, and I have touched on it in another podcast. It is a lot of factors that do go into what we call the wage gap between men and women. There's a lot of things that go into a job, positions, the type of job, the dangers of the job, stuff like that. So no, but I do agree with you in certain situations where there's equal women, equal men. Sometimes you will find a pay gap in those situations. For sure.
It does need to stop. We need to make sure that, I do understand what they're pushing for, like, especially women pushing to be paid equally, because the fight is still here. That means if it ain't true, then why are they still fighting for something that's not true? So that's why I can believe that some women are in predicaments where they are paid less at the same standard as a man. They have the same job title as that man, and that paid less than.
And we're doing the same work, physically and mentally.
Right.
I can totally agree there. I think it's on both ends. I like talking about both ends of the conversation. So, but how did a child affect your plans with, like, your career?
Well, that's what made me go, like, I got to make some more money to pay this daycare, because $1,200 a month for daycare. Then I got $1,600 a month for my student loans. Then I got a mortgage. I'm like, It's part of the reason why I haven't had another one.
Shit.
Do you plan on having more?
It's expensive.
I would love to. I
get that question out the way. That's one more question on the list.
If God gives me one, I'll take it. But yeah, it definitely affects, because if you want me to be really real with you,
that's what we look for.
I was driving
really real.
Really real. Was driving an hour to work, breastfeeding, dropping him off at daycare, going to work, going to lunch, pumping my milk, bringing it back to the day, latching him to breastfeed, going back to work, picking him up at 6:30, driving an hour home to breastfeed him again, pump at 2:00 in the morning, pump before I left for work. It's real.
You're a trooper. We ain't pump for that.
40 to 45 hours of work a week. This was a full-time job. I was working.
It is. Pumping really is a full-time job for real.
No. But I was working a job on top of the pumping. Like, there were times my husband would nudge me to wake me up, trying to get up, you got to pump. And I would be like, if you touch me again,
you better start getting milk. you better start letting the milk out of you.
Don't
there was this meme I saw where it was talking. I saw this meme one time where it was just like the women just be up, having to get up all types of hours when they breastfeeding, and they look over to the side with their man just with his useless nipples. Like
having a child puts a lot of strain on your relationship and your work shit, for sure. For sure, it's hard.
It is. It is. I think this leads to the perfect next question. You said it's hard. So for the people that would say a child stopped their plans or career, what would you say to them?
I would acknowledge it and let them know there's no book on this. There's no right way to go about each transition in life. You don't have to go to college first and then have a child. You can have a child and go to college. Like sometimes I'm like, wow, maybe if I had my son earlier, I could have then went to college. Like, there's just no right way to progress down this thing called life. You can do it in so many different ways.
Trial and error.
There's no right way.
Yeah, trial and error.
You kidding me? Sometimes I think I should have had him way sooner. And sometimes I think I should have waited 5 years.
Give or take. Give or take. I can understand that. So how has parenting been? Like, what are some of the things you enjoy most about it?
The things I enjoy most about parenting, you just never realize, you never think you could love something so much. Like,
I could say that my daughter changed my life.
You just, it's not something you can understand until it happens to you. Like, you love a little person with every fiber of your being that you would die for that. It just changes your life. Like, they're just your everything and nothing else matters. Nope. They become your goal in life. Nothing else matters. Let me tell you, I give back my degree. I give back my home if it meant having this baby, having this child, raising this boy. And I love that I have a son.
Yeah, I love that I had a daughter too. I want a boy because I want a junior, but
I got both.
I love having.
I got best of both worlds. I got one of each.
And then I do have a son. I have a stepson, but he is my son. So yeah, I got a son, but I want a junior someday. Someday I would love a JTJ.
What's the junior?
Yeah, I would like a JTJ junior. T-Brown, you got to keep it going though. You got to be Tbrown. Tyrone Brown.
No, bro, I'm already in junior. I thought about that my whole life, but literally my reasoning why is because, like how we were talking about with like in the workplace, my name black as hell. I don't want my. And then based on how my son looks, I'm sorry, my son does not look like a black. Like, it wouldn't fit. And then, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not ashamed of my name or anything like that. I love my name.
No, I get it.
It's just the fact that I want my son to be successful. Caspian Brown sounds fucking awesome. His full name, Caspian Elijah Miles Brown, sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah,
he's gonna get places with that.
You would never know what he is.
I would have hired him as a Tyrone Brown, the third.
But that's the third don't sound bad either. But it don't. Just like nah.
You could have been King James the third.
He's stupid. Shut up. He's still Prince Caspian, so it works out. So that's how I look at it.
I like
too.
Caspian name.
Yeah, it's my man, and it fits
My
too.
husband's
It
the
works
third,
out.
so if I would have named Landon Jose,
Yeah, the fourth.
he's the fourth.
The fourth.
Right.
The fourth king. That's
You don't
it.
need
And then
it.
plus it's already confusing with me and my father in the room, and then plus if we go to family reunions, there's other Tyrones out there, so that's why I'm like, it's already confusing enough.
Tyrone,
With 4 or 5 of
Tyrone
us
is
in
a
the room,
very, very
we don't
common
need-
name.
No, but
Very
I don't
common
know
name.
because I've literally, if it's not my family member, I've never met another Tyrone.
I know
Oh,
plenty
Justin
of
has a
Tyrone.
cousin named Tyrone.
Right.
I got
Rest in
I got
peace.
like 5. I got like 4. I got 4 cousins named Tyrone. Like that's
Rest
serious.
in peace. That Tyrone ain't no longer.
I ain't mad at you.
I didn't even know
R.I.P.
he passed away.
Tyrone passed away like I think a month or 2 after his mother.
Really?
I actually remember you talking about this too. Actually,
Yeah.
now that we
Like,
bring this up.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, Tyrone been going a long time since like right the same year his mom died. He went to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yep, the only person that I've met that's name is close enough to mine was Tyrone, and that was back in I was in Brooklyn, and like that was like the first grade, and he spelled his Tyrone.
Drop
Tyrone. Yep, for real,
Tyrone.
just dropped the E.
So what would you
Yeah.
say? What would you say is the most important part about raising a child? What is the most important part about raising a child?
The most important part is to teach them to be kind, but to bend, not break. The hardest part too is like parenting yourself out of your child when you start to see things that you have in yourself in them, and you're like, no, we don't want to go that way. To teach them to have empathy, but to teach them to also be strong, to know right from wrong.
That's a big key right there, right from wrong.
Yeah.
It's just hard because like some things seem right, but they're wrong, and some things are wrong and they seem right.
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 And to always do things out of love, like really
Right.
do things out of love, not with a hidden agenda, not for not to succeed in something, but to do it with a genuine heart.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are all important things for me, and I don't know if it's because I'm a woman. I don't like to say that, but these are all things I teach my son, who's going to be a man.
No,
I
think
feel
those
like
things
that's
everybody
not.
should teach their kid. Yeah. But I think
feel yes, I agree.
your
But I think that because you are a woman, that makes you more. Yeah, for real.
Yeah, but
that's
I wouldn't
really
say. I wouldn't even say.
A nurturing factor.
Yeah, I would say it's the woman thing, but it's more for me the nurturing part of being a woman. It's not necessarily you being a woman; it's the nurturing part that comes with you.
Yeah,
because women are very nurturing, especially when it comes to.
Yeah, that's a better way.
And
of
I think
putting it.
that's a very important aspect of a child's life growing up, to have somebody to nurture him. And it is also important. It is also important to have somebody also there to not be stern or tough on them, but just to show them like life is real, things are real. Even though you're getting nurtured on this side, you also have to learn these lessons here, because there's tough lessons to be learned in this. There's and I guess normal lessons to learn. I don't know the correct word for them, but it's like for two parents to be in a home, we both bring something else. It's like we don't bring the same thing. And I'm sure you can contest with it with you being married, and Tyrone being still with his girl, me being that girl. I think we all can hit that same note that
we're very different parents. Yep.
Yeah, you don't do what your husband does. Your husband doesn't do what you do, but it balances out. It balances out.
It's a balance.
Yep, it does.
You got to balance it out, because if not, then it's just chaos. Then the kid is going to favor whoever favors him the most. So I try not to do that with my daughter. So I'm glad like the discipline is kind of similar on both ends with the mom, with my girl and me. It's different, but it's similar, because then when I'm doing something, it's not like, oh, I'm just a mean daddy. No. It's like, nah, daddy wants something.
You have to know how to co-parent together.
Yeah.
A lot of people,
that's what I was about to say too.
When parents are seperated, but co-parent when you're together.
Yeah, especially in my situation with stepson. Especially in my situation with stepson, it's very important to co-parent. Yeah, because there's boundaries there. As much as I want to knock them Well, I mean, I do knock him upside. So I slap his neck. That's what I do. That's my thing. I took
open neck, no respect.
What was the
open neck, no respect.
What was the Wayne's Brothers show? What was the Wayne's Brothers
My wife
show?
and kids.
Yeah, when he used to slap Junior in the back of the head.
Oh,
That's where I get it from. So I just slap him in the back of the neck and be like, "Come on, bro, like you gotta do better." But I'm starting to build like a good relationship with him, and it's just like it makes me feel
crucial.
good.
So he's 11. It's crucial.
9. He's 9.
Oh, 9.
He'll be 10 the 12th of January.
Yeah.
So the other day
That's
he came.
Crazy. He got the same birthday as my father. Yo, that's crazy.
The other day he comes in, he's like, "Yo, Justin, can you be honest with me? My name's Troy to you guys, but everybody that knows me can call me Justin." But he goes, "Yo, Jay, you be truthful with me?" I'm like, he's like, "Nah, I need you to be honest. I'm like, "Yo, I won't lie to you." And I told my girl this from the jump. I would not lie to my kids. I don't care how simple or small it is, I'm not lying. He was like, "Yo, is Santa Claus real?" I was like, "Damn, bro, who told you that?" Who told you that?
You wasn't prepared for that question.
Nah, I was like, who told you? Because I don't tell my daughter from the jump never knew Santa Claus is real. He has because his mother, that's the tradition, that she did. So I'm like, yo, and my mindset is like, yo, I don't want to lie to my kids because then when he find out Santa Claus ain't real, he's gonna be bummed the fuck out about it. So I was like, to avoid that, I'm not telling my daughter. So when he came to me, he already had evidence that Santa Claus wasn't real. So what I did was I probed him. I got him to tell me what he knew. And I was like, yeah, nah, Santa Claus ain't real. And then we did some research on Christmas. So not only did I just be like, nah, I didn't go, yeah, Santa Claus fake and send him along his way. No, I sat him right down, right here next to the computer. We researched Santa Claus, we researched Christmas, and I gave him some knowledge on it because I think that's vital to kids because now all he's doing is trying to use his critical thinking to figure stuff out. So now his big thing now is the elf in the shelf. Is the elf in the shelf real? Now he's like, if Santa's not real, elf in the shelf can't be real. Elf in the shelf don't got no magic because Santa Claus dead. Remember we read Santa Claus died?
It's all right.
Now he's like, I'm like, look, elf in the shelf, he be moving around the house, man. I said, yo, I'll be messing with him because he ain't real. But I'll be messing with him. I'll be like, yo, you got to say a key password and he'll start talking to you. He's like, all right, then tell me the password. I said, nah, you're not old enough. You're not old enough to know the password. But I'm going to talk to him on Christmas because you can only talk to him around Christmas time. So when Christmas time come back around, I'm going to say the password and I'm going to tell him that he ain't real and he's going to disappear. And you ain't going to never see that elf in the shelf again. I said, because I'm going to throw that nigga in the garbage. I'm going to throw him right in the garbage.
You were right. Low key, I did want to start the elf in the shelf because I know Caspian will love that shit.
I started it last year.
No, it's fun when your kids are into it, but moving that thing is fucking annoying, bro.
My son is scared of it. Maybe this year he'll be better.
Moving that thing is annoying, bro. There was times last year he sat in the same place for 3 days, 3-4 days a week, bro. He didn't care. Like my girl wouldn't move it, I would have to go move it. I'm like, oh, where I'm gonna put this shit? I'm gonna tape it to the ceiling. I go get some tape it to the ceiling. But kids are very smart. And we don't think they are, but they're very smart. So he noticed little things over the years. Like he heard little conversations I had, and he noticed little things. And he's like, "Why?
You're not listening.
Why the gift say from Justin, from mommy, from grandma? Why don't it say from Santa Claus?" I'm like, he starts to catch on, bro.
Yep.
But
that's why my lady is different. She raps different. She raps them a different paper. She'll put them in the one that's from Santa Claus. So like, look, these are ones from Santa.
That's what
that's why when it comes to that co-parenting thing, that makes me realize, like, because not to put it like that, but my lady being a white lady, like she white, but they have different things. Like they're way than she is. She comes from a family where her mom was way more creative with her gifts. They would take the time out. If it was a small gift, they'll put that motherfucker in a big box and then put little trinkets in that motherfucker. So if you're trying to shake it to figure it out, it won't sound like what it is. You know, like they do different stuff. And like how I was just talking about now, like your great gifts from Santa Claus, she'll put them in a whole different wrapping paper. That's how you know those from Santa. And then
we did that too, but
you know,
he got outsmarted. He outsmarted it. He was like, that's not gonna work on me because like if Santa Claus is real, why like we don't have a chimney? He probably started putting things together. How Santa get in? We don't never leave milk and cookies out for this nigga. Like
I did that one time. I left brownies out for him one time, and that was my hint on how I knew he wasn't real. because I went back in the living room like 20 minutes after,
I have
and then
never
I
in
saw
my
that the
life.
brownie was gone, and I'm like, wait, he came in here already? And the brownie
Your
gone?
father
And
took
my
them.
dad was just, and
Pretty
yup, my
much.
father ate that motherfucker
Pretty
real
From the
much.
corner, like,
quick. My pops ate that
yeah, Santa
motherfucker
just
real
left. He went out the
quick.
back door. We don't got a back door, Pops.
My
Like, but now
pops ate
I
that
never
shit
believed in
real
Santa.
quick.
For as long as I can remember, like, go take my mind back, I don't think I ever
I
believed Santa
believed
was
in
a
him
thing.
for a hot sec.
Nah,
believe in him
I didn't
for
grow up in a household where you could even probably pull off Santa was real to us because we
Hell
barely
no.
got shit for
Not on
Christmas.
28
So
Monticello.
Y'all grew up fast. Y'all
Yeah.
definitely grew up
yeah,
fast.
we didn't. There was no Christmas for us. Our Christmas was clothes, bro. So make sure we had clothes for the winter, bro.
Yeah.
Make sure we had
Y'all
coat
grew up
stuff for the
fast.
like. We struggled, and it was a testament to just how hard grandma worked to ass off, and not even work, bro. But grandma kept that house together, bro. And the second you see us now, and I hate that, like the aspect of grandmothers keep us together, but when they die off, bro, we family go to just shambles. Yeah, like, and I seen it like from, you know, my grandmother to our Nancy. When our Nancy died, our Nancy used to always keep us all together. That was my grandmother's twin. When she died when I was a kid, functions started to slow down. And then as grandma got older, and she couldn't cook anymore as she used to, function slowed down. Like grandma used to have a Thanksgiving dinner every year. Everybody used to come. Now we don't even do that no more. Like it's now people literally go around, collect plates, and like, I see you next year. Like,
oh God,
for me, I'm trying to get back into the tradition. Like last year, I had my first family Thanksgiving, I think, here at my house.
You gotta do it for your family.
One year we had it, and we invited, I think,
for the kids, yo.
I think we invited my mother, her husband over, and then my cousin, and then Rachel invited her cousins over, and we had a dinner. But this year we're going over another one of my cousins, that Nick, you know, Marsha's son. Yeah, he invited us over for Thanksgiving. So because he wants to get back into that aspect too. He got kids. Well, he has a son, and I think four step kids or 5 step kids. One of the two. Yeah, he's a strong man. I tell him, Nick is strong man.
Yeah.
I got 1 step son.
But Nick always been that guy. We always knew Nick was that.
Yeah, Nick was always Nick was always a good dude. But get back on track. So talking about womanism for a little bit, I don't even know if that's a word. I'm making it up right now. But
wouldn't it be feminism?
No, I want womanism. I don't want feminism. But how has the notion?
Do you?
How has the notion of what it means to be a woman changed over the last 5 to 10 years?
I think that it's changed because it's like multifunctional, multi-rolled. We're not just women because we have breasts and vaginas. We're working women, we're mothers, we're in the workplace, we are balancing home life and work life, and we're executives, we're professionals. So our roles have expanded so much that like there's not just one thing we do anymore. We cook, we clean, work, we mother, we have friends, we socialize, we do everything now. Bear children, hear children.
Can you imagine as a modern day woman just going back to the 50s for one day?
No, thank you. I like it here.
Yeah, I bet a lot of women will come back with the realization like, nah,
that's another funny thing I said about myself.
Straighten my shit out, bro, because I don't cook, clean, or do laundry. I need to straighten up. I need to learn how to do these things tonight. You send them back to the 50s for one day, they come back like, baby, I'm gonna clean the whole house. I don't need you to do anything.
I'm good.
Don't send me back there. Yeah, we got a lot of freedom, but I that's what I would say. I would say women have a lot more freedom. And I had this conversation with my cousin about how much power women have in today's society. Like, you guys legitimately have power. And I had to explain to her, like, you guys sit at the table now. And if you go back 30, 40, 50 years, there wasn't many women sitting at the table where decisions worldwide are made. There wasn't women sitting there. You guys literally are sitting at that table now. You get a say in what, you know, what goes on in those table meetings. So how do you think how you think that plays a role into how women are shaped today? Like, you guys having that seat at that table, having a little bit of, having not even a look, because you guys
it gives us more control over our lives. It gives us more control over who we are and what we become and how we impact the world. We have voices now. So I think
Slowly but surely, I hope y'all get more.
Yeah, like we're running the world now.
Yeah, I would say that it's now. I would say now the level playing field are now a little shaky now, where you guys are up there and you guys get to make. Why is my light jumping? You guys get to go make big decisions in the world that can shape other young women. Absolutely. And I think that keeps y'all that role of power continuing, so other people that come up, they don't get oppressed again, and those women can actually grow up into that power. And I think we have some great women, some women that are leaders that are speaking out for women. I think we have some great leadership there, but I also think we have some misguided leadership, and when it comes to Black people, when it comes to the LGBT community, when it comes to women, I think we all are in a place where I knew that was gonna happen. My light died. You guys gonna have to deal with me like this. But I think we're all in a place where we're trying to find each other, and it's like, where does the compromise come in from each of these places to not invade the safe places that other people have, like just when we talk about women, a little while ago, and it's a big controversy going on with Dave Chappelle and the special, The Closer. I don't know if you watched it.
No, I didn't watch the whole thing. I started watching it, but
you gotta. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the parts that people was outraged at, but I watched the whole part of it. What his message was, because I think as a jokester, I know what comedy is. So for me, I need to know how he set it up and how he ended, because he was talking about a transgender woman who killed herself. Daphne, he didn't know fully what she was going through, but she took some backlash for sticking up for him with his comments on transgender, and people from the transgender community destroyed her. And it's like 2 days after that, she wanted to take her life. So it's like then we have stuff like that happening within the community. But then the thing that I was going to within that, the reason why I'm bringing up the transgender community is because a little while ago we had there was an incident, I think in San Antonio, where a labeled sex offender who turned into a transgender woman went into a sparse changing room with women and kids and undressed in front of them. So the reason why I bring that up, so the question I want to ask you is, with the power that you guys have, in today's world, that you guys have a seat at that table, how do we, in your opinion, get to a place where transgenders can feel like they have their own space, like gay people have their own space, lesbians have their own space, without infringing on straight women's safe places? Like, let's take for instance, because I want to be clear on what I'm saying. So let's take bathrooms for instance. My opinion on bathrooms is make every bathroom in every place one person bathrooms, because now we separate men, women, and children all together, instead of making it men's bathroom, women's bathroom, or either have a men's bathroom, women's bathroom, and put a family bathroom in every place, so this way they can feel comfortable going into the bathroom with themselves, because there's dangers on both sides. So
you're saying you like the idea of the unisex bathrooms?
I wouldn't mind it if it's a common ground where every party can be safe.
Yeah, no, I like the unisex. Yeah, I mean, they're doing it now already. If you go down to Perry Park, unisex everything.
Yeah, there's some places that do have them, but overall, what do you feel like we need to do to get transgenders to a safe place without infringing on women's safe places?
Right.
You just have to accept them, because being transgendered is not just about your gender. It's about it's what you believe you are in your mind. We just have to accept them for that. That's who they believe they are. We can't take that away from them.
I agree 100%. I think we need to get to a place where we just stop discriminating against people, because we're to a place where we don't do it with gay people.
And that's what Daphne was saying to Dave in his special, because at one point in time when he was giving his jokes and like he was saying that she was answering his questions back in the Joker form. Yeah, and after a while he was like, yo, I don't know. Yeah. And he was like, yo, I don't understand what you're talking about. And she straight up was like, yo, I don't need you to understand what I'm talking about. I just need you to believe that I'm having a human experience. And that's really what it is. And I'm not going front. when he said that story, that clicked in me a little bit too. I'm like,
Mhm.
damn, you're right. Like for real, we're literally all humans at the end of the day. Like we're just trying to experience. And like you said, if they believe that's what they believe, then I mean, yeah, like I'm not gonna knock you, you know. I just gotta get more knowledgeable a bit more and try and understand where you're coming from, you know. And
Yeah.
even if I can't understand where you're coming from, still respect my boundaries. That's really what that is, you
Yeah.
Yeah, and
know.
I think it's on both ends. We got to start respecting their boundaries and them respecting our boundaries, because
Facts,
it's a lot of chaos going around, like
facts.
with them trying to find a place where they fit in. And I think, in my personal opinion, the government isn't helping by putting these little laws in
Oh
place with these
no,
loopholes. Because we talked about it with one of my gay friends
oh
who's
no.
in the LGBT community but doesn't fully support the stuff that's going on in them. And then we
Facts,
had another podcast episode with another one of Tyrone gay friends who doesn't have anything to do with the LGBT community. So there's also,
facts.
people in the community that sees there's a problem of things that's being pushed. And like I said to my boy Elijah, I said, you guys have to get back to your original fight of just being protected, saying you can have the same-sex marriage and being afforded the rights as every other human. Because now all the other
Facts.
fights that you guys are pushing for, they're seeing, government
Being
is sitting here like,
expensive.
all right, we could give them this, we'll give them this because it's going to shut them up. And who did they do that to? They did it to us.
They
Here,
have basic
here,
human
here,
rights.
here.
Basic human rights. The
Right,
right to protection, the
Yeah.
right to love, the right to
right. They're
Facts.
humans. They should have these rights, but everything else that's trying to come along with it is messing with the agenda that the original, group tried to push. The reason why they started the fight in the first place. And I bring this up with my gay friend because I don't judge nobody in the community. I have gay friends. I know lesbians,
Friends
I
and
know
family
transgender
members.
people, but it's
Shit.
like, for me, it's like I see everybody as a human, but it's like with the way government is handling things, it's not right towards transgender people and it's not right towards women, because you guys are the main ones, whether you see it or not. Because I had this conversation with my girlfriend and my girl was like, I don't care, I'm not being affected by it. I was like, that's the wrong way of thinking, because you are a group of women, and if the group of women are being affected, you're someday going to be affected by it. So the thing for me is, it's we need to stand up, all get at the table together. Transgenders, lesbians, gays, queers, whatever, whoever, straight people. We need to sit at a table and we need to find a common ground so they can live their lives and we can live ours without us going back and forth. Because right now on social media, when you look around, there's a back and forth fight between straight people and the LGBT community. And I don't think that's what the fight is. And with the Dave Chappelle special, there was a transgender woman on the Don Lemon show on CNN, and she stuck up for Dave Chappelle. And she said it. She was like, "Yo, in history, there's gonna be two sides of history that's written for transgenders. There's gonna be the younger ones that keep talking about these pronouns and call me this and call me that, and then it's gonna be us, the ones that sit here and still fighting for the things that we originally started fighting for and getting done. The things of us just being human, people just seeing us as human. And I think that's the problem. It's like a lot of these young people, no matter what spectrum or what gender you are, a lot of them feel like their opinions outweigh other people's opinions. And I think that's getting in the way of what the transgender agenda is. And I think it's the main reason why you see a lot of people in the LGBT community arguing and bickering with straight people on fucking social media. I think there's no common ground. We're not trying to understand each other. We're not trying to get to a point where, they're good, we're good, we don't care. Because like I told people in another episode, people don't care who you sleep with, bro. We just don't. We just don't. Like we don't.
No.
Like we don't.
It don't
We
matter.
don't, bro. We don't care who you sleep with, bro. We don't. But in today's society, it's just it's a place where you go on social media and everybody's putting out who they sleeping with. Everybody wants you to care, and it's like, yo, nobody cares. Nobody cares. But then on the other end, because I like to have the conversation on both ends, when you're posting all this stuff or you're telling people all this stuff, this is who I date, and then somebody has a comment about it, now you can't take the comment. The comment's negative.
Right.
And I think that's what Dave Chappelle was speaking to, the sensitivity of today's society and how the LGBT community has so much power right now that you can't say anything in their direction without them trying to just completely destroy what you guys have. And I don't think that's right. And I think their fight isn't similar to the black fight. Their fight is their own fight in the right, but there are some similarities in what you women had to fight through.
Blurry. Yeah, the lines get a little blurred.
Yeah.
Because
that blurred line is like how what Dave Chappelle said, that some of them They want to sit there and be the minority until it calls for them to be white again. That's
It's
really what
just
that is.
everybody wants to be the victim. That's what the issue is too.
True.
It's
But
crazy.
Justin, how much time we got?
How much time? I got one question left. I got one. I'm BSing. I'm feeling you out to see how you feel over there.
I'm exhausted.
Whenever you wanna, if you want to get to the last question, you could be like, "Yo, let's just get to that last question." All right.
Let's get to that last. I got work tomorrow.
The last question is simple, man. The last question is simple. Any other advice you want to share with the youth or young parents? The youth and young parents.
Youth and young. Oh my God, these are just so loaded and hard, and
that's why I wasn't giving you the questions, bro. I want them general responses. I want to see you think and how your real responses. Because when people watch you and they get to see the realness and what you're saying, they're like, "Oh shit, yo, I could do this. I could really do this." Like.
So repeat the question again.
Do you have any advice for young parents and or the youth?
Oh my gosh. Just try and be the best you can and do the best you can. You got to try and be better than your parents. Do right by your kids, do right by your family. Strive to be the best you can be. You can do anything you put your mind to. Seek out support, seek out guidance. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You can do anything you want to do. If you will it, if you seek it, you can do it.
Facts.
I wish I had asked for more help when I was younger. Ask for help. There's so many people out there willing to help you.
I wish I had help when I was younger.
Yeah, ask for help. Never be ashamed. Never be ashamed to ask for help.
If you do have somebody in front of you, ask for help, because
you'll be surprised at how many people will extend the olive branch to you if you just ask for it. You gotta ask. You gotta speak up.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Tyrone, you got any other questions for the beautiful Latrinda?
Nah, I don't. No.
Well, with that said, Latrinda, we want to thank you for coming on. We want to thank you
for
joining us.
My first podcast.
That's right. We want to thank you for sharing your time with us, because you are giving us your time.
Thank you for giving us your time.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate that.
Anytime you want to come back on and have a conversation about anything else, you let us know. We will find you.
Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. I'm here.
All right.
I'm here. I appreciate y'all.
No, we appreciate
you. We appreciate you.
Nah, I just knew you could shape young women's thought process with the whole college experience and all the fights and struggles you went through to get to where you are today.
There's been a lot of women who have helped me along my way, and I make sure that I, return that.
We gotta stick together.
Yeah, definitely.
We gotta look out for each other. We gotta stop being crabs in a barrel to each other.
Absolutely.
100%. We need some togetherness, man. I keep saying that. And anybody that watches podcast know I'm about to go on my spiel after, Latrinda leave with a message to the podcast. But I always push togetherness, man. We need to start coming together. We need to start being community again and raising these kids together, and that's one thing I didn't get to ask you is like, what role does the community play with helping like with your kid and like the way you shape your kid and stuff like that?
I love the "it takes a village" mentality. I really do. I love that mentality. I mean, I had a baby. The neighbor gave me the clothes for my baby. She then had a baby. I gave the clothes right back to her. And I mean, it went in a
right.
And
that's a community.
I remember growing up, the mailman, I know your father,
See, I said this in another episode. I said I couldn't go down a block and do something without somebody going back and telling my parents. You can't do that now today. That's a community.
We don't have that today.
No,
you can't in my neighborhood. You can, because I live in a small town. Like low key, they kind of strive on that still, with like knowing who your parents are and the kids are.
I love
we would save so many of our young kids' lives if we just fucking keep an eye on them. People don't understand. It's not my kid. I don't care. That's the mentality.
And they'll be so much more successful, and they will struggle so much less.
True.
They'll struggle so. How many people Oh, you need help with this? I know somebody that's into that. Oh, you need this done? I know somebody that does that.
Yeah, it's just like nobody wants to give a helping hand no more. Everybody just wants to stick to themselves and mind their business. And it's like, it's not good for the kids this way. The kids are going to suffer this way.
Shit.
Especially the kids that's in an environment like the one I am. If they're not strong-minded like me, they're not fall victim to the gang life or the street life. It's easy to fall victim to it. And I see it every day with young Black men and young Black women now. 14-year-olds standing on a corner selling drugs. 14-year-olds out here killing each other.
Because they don't know that they have another option
out.
Smoking black and miles out this mug. Early as hell. Fucking up their lungs.
He said fucking up their lungs. That's the simple thing. I'd rather them do that than be out here.
I don't. They still got possible. What if they want to be singers? You need that lung capacity.
Well, you can just stop and then work on your lung capacity.
Go fuck up the chords,
but
bro.
If you're in the streets and somebody shot you, bro, it's a great chance that you're not gonna come back from it. So, but no, like LaTrinda said, bro, they don't know they have the opportunity. All those activities we had back in the day, we don't have no more. This is the third podcast in a row I'm saying this. Like, we need to get the community, we need to shape it back the way it was to help these young kids understand that they are talented, because we have so many talented people falling to the streets. Like I said, I had this conversation with I know I'm gonna let you go after this. I had this conversation with my mom's husband. He's like, in my area, there's more good people than bad people. I said, bro, you don't live here. You don't know there's actually more gang members than fucking good people here. You don't understand that. Everybody up here is a gang member. Mothers, fathers, uncles, brothers, sisters. Almost all families are gang members. There's actually a family in Jersey City right now fighting a gang, killing each other.
When the original plan for a gang wasn't what it is to
protect the community, to help
facts. And that's the crazy part about it too. Gangs are meant to help the communities. Like back in the day, they actually did food drives. Bloods and the Crips were actually helping out the community. Nah, they fucking everything up.
But Trinda, we want to thank you again. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for spending our time. I'm gonna get with you. I'll text you after. All right, cool. And then before you go to sleep, just to run some things by you, and then I'll send you the links and stuff.
Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you. You too.
I'll be safe.
You too. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Oh, right, guys. Now, I mean, if you didn't get the message of this podcast, I mean, if they didn't get the message of this one, I don't know what to tell them, bro. Like, college is hard. Let's start there, because that's where we started the conversation. College is hard, bro. College is a challenge, right? College is expensive. You know, LaTrinda alluded to all these things. College is all of these things. Yes, they are. College is all of these things. They are. But one thing college also is a way out and a way to better yourself. It is a way to better yourself. I went to college. I graduated with a degree. I met a professor there that I still talk to today. She helped me understand that I can think for myself. She helped me think, no, I can't even speak no more. It's just so true. It blew my mind. She helped me understand that I can think for myself. And a lot of us young people don't understand that we could think for ourselves.
Hell yeah, son. Hell yeah, sir.
Tbrown's just rhetoric. But no, man, college is hard, but it's a great opportunity to gain skills that will help you in life. Having a career is hard. Sometimes you're going to change the career you want. Sometimes you're going to think that you want to do one thing and then do another. That's true. That happens. But you have to understand that no matter what career you pick, no matter what you want to do, you got to give 110% all the way through, and you will get to your end goal. You will get there. You just got to work. There's going to be obstacles in your way. There's obstacles in everybody's way. Even for people that ain't trying to get nowhere, there's obstacles in their way. So you got to be able to overcome them and understand that what's outside, you don't need to be subjected to it. You don't need to be subjected to what you see somebody else do. You could be a leader. Right. You can lead, like LaTrinda. She leads. She was a leader. She stepped up. Was like, nobody else in my family has this, but one person on the other side. I need to get it for this time, but not just for
Yeah,
that, but for
hold it.
me, so I can do something in my life, so I can have a career and I can do something. And then here comes along a kid, and then she starts applying all these things she learned. Like, okay, I understand money needs to be made. I have this that I got to take care of. The kid come along. Yeah, I'm not going to stop my career or what I want to do. I'm going to keep pushing, but I'm also going to be the greatest mother I can be. And a lot of you women out here, you give up on yourselves, you give up on your careers, and you give up on your children.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
And you give up on your children. And we're here to tell you guys, no, just keep fighting, bro. There are people here, like Trenda said, you'll be surprised who will extend the olive branch to give you even a little bit of the road they have, to show you how to take it. Like, and that's all young people need, is to be shown the road and given the tools to take that road. Just like in gangs, they're shown the role, they're given the tool to perfect the role. We have to start doing that with good things for our youth. You know, we did touch a little bit on, you know, womanism, and as I like to call it, and, you know, some of the stuff that's going on, you know, to touch on from the last episode with Dave Chappelle and, you know, the transgender community. I would love to see a point in time where, you know, we can all just sit down, no matter who you are. We have explained this. So if this is your first episode watching this and you got this far, bro, you might want to go back and watch the rest of our episodes before you start judging us. All right. Because we are for humans, no matter what you are. We're not looking at you for being lesbian. We're not looking at you for being straight. We're not looking at you for being gay. We're not looking at you for being transgender. We're not looking at you for being any of that. We're looking at you for the person that you are, the personality that you give to people, the things that you give to people. And yes, it doesn't matter what you are. A lot of us have bad attitudes. A lot of us go about things the wrong way. We need to start correcting that. We need to sit down at the table and have a real conversation about these things, a real conversation. Not an ignorant conversation, a real conversation of how we can find safe places for everybody. Because safe places are being affected. They're being affected. And I don't think it's their fault. I said this in another podcast. I don't think it's transgender's fault. There's some of them that are going along with it and will fight to the death for it for some reason. But I don't think it's the majority of their fault. I think it's that minority of them that's pushing this shit, and their voices is speaking 10 times louder than anybody else's voice. Everybody else's voice is in the back while they're in the front. And I think we need to change that. I think we need to really just sit down and have genuine, honest conversations about how we can move forward in a community where I don't care what you feel about me. I don't care what you think about me. Just don't harm me. And that's it. That's it. That's it. So I'm going to read you guys the quote now before we wrap this thing up. So the quote is by Carlton Fisk. And he says, it's not what you achieve, it's what you overcome. That's what defines your career. All right? It's not what you achieve, it's what you overcome. It's about the struggle you go through to get to where you are. And we acknowledge that every day in everyday life, there are men that struggle, there are women that struggle, and there are children that struggle. And we just need to be better at coming together and being a community. We do, for our children, for ourselves, for people that's experiencing life, for people that's having a life experience, like Daphne said, rest in peace, Daphne. But yeah, we just need to start coming together so these things don't happen, man. We deal with tragedy every day, and a lot of people deal with stuff that we don't even comprehend or think they go through. So we got to stop, you know, judging people on the outside. If you don't like a term or you don't like a lifestyle somebody's living, that is your opinion, but keep it to yourself. Nobody needs to know your opinion. Why is your opinion more important than than the person that feels the way that they feel? Your opinion doesn't matter, bro. Like I said in another episode, you try to tell me something about my girl, I don't care. I'm not listening to you. And the LGBT community, you guys need to get the same way, bro. Stop caring what these guys say to you, because then for the ones that do want to taunt you guys and troll you guys, they're gonna keep getting away with it, because you guys are still gonna keep reacting to them. Like we said about the N-word earlier, if we stop reacting, we can change it. We can change it. But T, anything you want to add? Anything, bro?
No hard R's.
No hard R's. This your boy Troy.
It's your boy Tbrown.
Thank you for listening to the What's Up Brother podcast, man. We're gonna catch you guys in the next one.
What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?